Awful John Bond, but they're on their way now. What a contrast between these two managers. Big John Bond, the amiable extrovert, who's shown a Midas touch in the last 7 months. And nearer the camera, Keith Birkinshaw, a pipe-smoking Yorkshireman, bred on a sound Barnsley diet of common sense and high integrity. But they share one thing in common, that's for sure. They're both excellent coaches. And what many people don't appreciate is that the players coming out behind them have all benefited in one way or another from the influence on the training ground of the two men at the front and their coaching staff. The waves to the relatives up in the stand. Players always look up as John Bond is there to see their wives and families having worked out exactly where they're sitting. I think it was a kiss there from John Bond to his wife. And the Tottenham lads finding some familiar faces as we await now the national anthem, after which the players will be presented to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Such a popular figure, the Queen Mother. And goes first to Paul Power, the captain of Manchester City, who will introduce his team. Joe Corrigan, the big goalkeeper, who's played here in League Cup finals, but it's a new experience for all the players, an FA Cup final. Nicky Reed, only 20, and Tommy Caton, the youngest player in the final at 18, the centre-back partnership. Also, we've got the two sons of modern immigrant families playing in this final. David Bennett there for Manchester City, just being introduced, and next to him, Steve McKenzie, a Londoner playing against a London club. Kevin Reeves. Bobby McDonald, the left-back. Tommy Hutchison, who's the oldest player in the final at 33. With the afro hairstyle, Jerry Gow. The substitute, Tony Henry, and the manager who traditionally on these occasions stands right at the end of the line, by now needs no further introduction. And to the strains of Super Tottenham from the crowd, the Queen Mother led across to meet Steve Perryman, the model professional to whom this moment means so much. Steve Steve Archibald having a conversation with Her Majesty. And then Ozzy Ardiles. Garth Crooks. The big bearded figure of Ricky Villa. And then the man that some people think could win the game, Glenn Hoddle. Gary Brooke is the Tottenham substitute. Next to him is Chris Hughton. And as Her Majesty moves down the Tottenham line to meet the centre-backs and also goalkeeper Milja Alexic, Keith Birkinshaw, who has said just how much this moment means to him. He was here with Newcastle as a coach in 1974, but he's led Tottenham here through what was for him at one time quite a traumatic period at the club when they were relegated, but how well he's brought them back. The referee, Keith Hackett from Sheffield, and his two linesmen, David Hutchinson from Harrogate and Alan Jones from the Wirral. And Her Majesty will be taken now by the chairman of the Football Association to her seat in the royal box, where, if Wembley tradition is preserved, she will sit for one half next to one club chairman and for one half next to the other. But all eyes now on the players in the 100th FA Cup final, and on nobody more so than Ozzy Ardiles. The scene that he's relished, and now he's part of it, having played in the World Cup final of '78. He now plays in the English FA Cup final 3 years later, with his compatriot Ricky Villa, who twice has had injuries sustained in FA Cup ties that have kept him out of the game for 3 months, but suddenly came back and came good in the semi-final against Wolves. Tommy Caton, the youngest player in the match, only 18, but he's played here before for England schoolboys, and in contrast to him, the oldest player on the field at 33, Tommy Hutchison, the man who's dribbling on the right-hand side of the field, some experts believe could be a significant factor in the match. Let's check on the two teams now. For Manchester City, Ray Ranson held off the challenge of Tony Henry at number 2, and Caton was preferred to the more experienced Tommy Booth at number 6. Indeed, the two centre-backs, Reid and Caton, are believed to be the youngest pairing ever in an FA Cup final. Up front, David Bennett and Kevin Reeves. Unlucky Phil Boyer, injured earlier in the cup run, has to sit this one out. What an international set Spurs are. Some of the relatives in the stand make this look like the League of Nations. We've got the two Argentines, of course, at numbers 6 and 7, but goalkeeper Alexic has a Yugoslav father. Chris Hughton at number 2, his father's from Guyana. The number 11, Garth Crooks, has West Indian parents, and just for good measure, the number 9, Tony Galvin, speaks Russian. On the far side of Her Majesty, Peter Swales, the chairman of Manchester City, an FA councillor, and he should be, in the nicest possible sense of the word, replaced at half-time by the Tottenham chairman, Arthur Richardson, who's sitting, in fact, in the front there, talking to the Duchess of Kent. Arthur Richardson, a director at White Hart Lane for over 20 years, who's supervised the building of the new stand there since he succeeded Sidney Wale in the chair. And his captain, Steve Perryman, was here in 1967 as a 15-year-old, watching Tottenham from the stands, and just 2 days after that final, he signed as an apprentice at White Hart Lane. Now at 29, he fulfills a lifetime's ambition and captains the club in an FA Cup final, and his opposite number, Paul Power of Manchester City. Michael Power, who was a law student at Leeds Polytechnic and an amateur at that time, passing his exams before he turned professional, scorer of the winning goal in the semi-final against Ipswich. The referee, Keith Hackett, only 36 and only on the Football League list for 5 years. What a rapid rise for him. Not quite the youngest cup final referee. Kevin Howley in 1960 and Jack Taylor in 1966 were both 35, but nevertheless, whoever takes charge on the big day regards it as the great moment of his career. So, to a wall of sound, the 100th FA Cup final will start with Spurs kicking off in the white shirts, playing from right to left, and Manchester City in sky blue. Ardiles immediately leaving that for Miller. On the left, Tony Galvin, number 9, challenged by Ramsey. Putin's header. This side of the pitch is going to be most interesting, with Tommy Hutchison playing on the right for Manchester City and Tony Galvin wide on the left for Spurs. That was Glenn Hoddle, but this is Gow. McDonald straight to Hoddle. That was Power. The header was by Graham Roberts, and here's Perryman. Getting back there was Mackenzie. Bennett. Reeves, Gow. The ball was fouled by McDonald. Graham Roberts has gone forward. Here's Hoddle. Hoddle to Archibald. Most of Tottenham's free kicks are taken by Glenn Hoddle. And there he is again. What a marvellous piece of skill. Crooks. Tackles by Gow. Putin, number 2, but playing left back, remember. Crooks let it go. Well, Garth Crooks received the ball first off there with a superb crossfield pass from Glenn Hoddle. And it gives Jimmy Hill a chance for a quick word.
I was noticing how many first-time balls there were early on in this game, and there's going to be a battle in midfield, as we know, and I think the players on both sides are saying, if I'm going to be challenged that strongly, I'm going to move it quickly.
And move it quickly they did there. A free kick to Manchester City. Tommy Caton has made his way forward on the far side. To be taken by Nicky Reed. Played in low for Mackenzie. Here's Reeves. Ricochet. And it'll be a corner. And the referee may want a new ball. Milia Alexic gave the ball to the referee as we watched the ricochet there, which sent the ball out for a corner. I think the ball may have gone flat. A reminder of what happened here in 1946 and 47 when the ball first burst and then went flat. It's had to be replaced in 1981. So 2 corners in quick succession for Manchester City, who examine the Tottenham defence in these nervous opening minutes. They've got Payton on the near post, Reeves is there as well. Hutchison's making a run across now. That was Hutchison coming in close with Hoddle, and the 3rd corner. Payton's up there again, so was Roberts. Here's Gow. That's an awkward one. Reeves is in there, so was Bennett, so was Payton with the header. He's never scored for the first team, Tommy Payton, but Spurs will be glad to get those few minutes over.
Well, the Spurs defence looked rattled early on, without any doubt. The quick succession of corners has put them under pressure, and they're not liking it. And it'd be a marvellous thing for City if they could get a break now.
Spurs in a corner here with Houghton. The ball was out. We've had 5 minutes, and the balance of play so far with City. Tommy Hutchison, who can get some distance on throws from here. Reeves coming to the near post now with Houghton. Here's Hutchison. Bent in, and Power was arriving. It was Perryman whose header took the ball out for a 4th corner for Manchester City. So a very firm start here by the Northern club. Tottenham have pulled everybody back bar Archibald. Power, but Villiers got a flick on that. That's Mackenzie. Who's only ever been to Wembley twice before, and never to see an FA Cup final. Archibald. Hutchison has switched from right to left for the moment. Here's Ranson. Paul Miller. Tottenham so keen to play through their midfield, and City so determined to deny them that luxury. Here's Villiers, Archibald. Villiers coming through again here, and it's Bennett. Houghton, Mackenzie, Reeves, Bennett. Good play by City. Bennett's taking them on. Miller was there. Hoddle. Payton with Archibald. Was fouled by Power. Spurs worked hard at their free kicks on the 2 days prior to this final, scoring different angles. Here's Hoddle again, but an easy one for Joe Corrigan, who will appreciate that sort of cross. Houghton chasing back here, Perryman. Playing right back despite the number 5 on his shirt. Roberts. One for Galvin to compete for. Ranson won it. Slightly surprised by the gap in Ranson's mouth. He's had his gum stitched this week. Archibald lays it back for Hoddle to shoot. And he's already scored twice at Wembley for England as Archibald set the chance up. Hoddle has scored 2 from that sort of range in internationals. McDonald. Power, McDonald. Hoddle sorting it out for Tottenham. And a free kick. Villa. Hoddle. Looking for Crooks. Nicky Reed with him. Pace on the ball.
Well, Spurs showing signs of settling now, which will comfort their fans, but the defenders on both sides, the young ones who we expect perhaps to collapse, have both stood up very well to whatever pressure's been put against them so far. So nobody's going to give the game away, certainly not in the first 10 minutes.
That was Miller up. Gow. Caton. 10 minutes gone in the 100th Cup final and no score. Jerry Gow looking for Reeves, who's onside. Tottenham defence with a little square, but Perryman was so composed. And very competitive too. Ardiles. Just how much space, I wonder, is this Spurs midfield going to get? Houghton. Galvin started his run down the left wing, cut out by Ranson. Hutchison for City, number 10. That familiar, lanky stride of his. Ardiles with the tackle. Reed. Roberts coming in behind Bennett, and a clash of heads between the two has left them both on the ground. Hutchison, though, plays on and finds Reeves, and this is Ranson. This could be dangerous for Spurs. Mackenzie's coming in at the far post. But a nasty clash of heads between David Bennett and Graham Roberts. And Roberts, by the way, the player who was concussed badly last week at the Hawthorns and was unconscious for 6 minutes, and he's down again as he came in behind Bennett. That was a really nasty collision. And just how bad that is, we shall see in a moment. Just watch how it happened here. Roberts coming in behind Bennett, who flicked the ball on, and they then collided.
We were talking beforehand about how clever Bennett was in keeping possession, and that was an example. It was a beautiful ball nodded back there to Tommy Hutchison, but well, he's up there, Roberts, there's no question about it, but if anybody was seriously injured there, I thought it would have been him, because it was the front of his head positively as against the back of Bennett's head. But thank goodness they're both all right. There was no malice. It was just part of the danger of playing football when you jump for a ball in the air. There's only one ball and there are 2 players.
2 players who a year ago would hardly have dreamed of playing in an FA Cup final. David Bennett was just making his way into the side, and Graham Roberts was just signing for Tottenham from Weymouth a year ago this week. Crooks and Villa are both up with Caton. Here's Ardiles, beaten by Gow. Hutchison to Mackenzie. Looks for Bennett, but it's too long. Crooks, beaten by Reed. Now it's Jerry Gow. Mackenzie's made a run through the centre. Here's Ardiles for Spurs. Goes past Gow, but immediately the second challenge came in. That was from Paul Power. Power left his left-sided position to go into the middle and cover Ardiles. Gow. Ranson. Spurs fans who don't know what it's like to lose an FA Cup final. Spurs in their history have played in 10 cup finals of one sort or another and only lost one. But it's who plays well on the day, and this is Mackenzie for City trying to find Gow. This is Reed. Looks for Bennett. Roberts is the defender. Reeves might nip in here. Roberts was quick enough. Villa. See how City are harassing the Spurs midfield men the way that they did to the Dutchman of Ipswich in the semi-final. Ardiles there was trying to get away from Jerry Gow and forced to go square, and not very convincingly. Pressure applied to the man on the ball by a very determined Manchester City midfield, and Ardiles couldn't find the room he needed. It worked against Tyson and Muren, those tactics at Villa Park. I wonder if they'll work again today. Ranson. Goal kick.
Just seeing Tommy Hutchison there, he's such a talented all-round player. He's got the capability of beating teams on his own, but he's been a much more effective unit for City when he has played his role, laid the ball about, because he's also an elegant passer. Today, what I've seen of him, he's trying to do a bit too much. I'd like to see him play the ball earlier and keep the rhythm.
This is Ranson. Villa for Spurs. Number 6. Right across to Perryman. Spurs wanting to get the ball forward, but finding it difficult with the number of blue shirts playing in groups around the Tottenham man on the ball. This is Power for City. Reeves. Power, good play. Mackenzie's in the middle, and so is Bennett. And so is Ardiles for Tottenham. He's improved so much defensively since he came from Argentina. Gow. Hutchison. Garth Brooks getting back. Villiers there too. Here's Ardiles. Looked for the early ball, but it wasn't on. And immediately Jerry Gow brings him down. Gow noted for his ferocious tackling in the middle of the field. Miller with the kick. Galvin. Reed wanting the ball to run, and it did. Point worth bearing in mind is that it's 10 years since a team came from behind to win the cup. In the last 9 finals, the first team to score has won the trophy. So we await the first goal here as Hutchison flicks the ball on for City. Houghton, the way back to the goalkeeper was cut off. This is Roberts. Brooks being marked by Reed. Villiers well forward, number 6. And he's pulled away, and Archibald's on the far post if he can find him. Wasn't long enough. It's come back to Crooks. Villiers off the field, staying out of an offside position. Ardiles. The block was by Caton. Steve Mackenzie, tackled by Ardiles, then by Hoddle. Handball, free kick to Spurs. Archibald the target. And he was backing into McDonald, says the referee. Interesting there that McDonald picked up Archibald, Reed stayed with Crooks, and they left Caton as the free man. Ardiles offside against Archibald. Spurs' most expensive player, but he's repaid them this season with 25 goals. Miller with Reeves. Here's Gow. McDonald, Reeves. McDonald still well forward, number 3. Hoddle trying to play his way out of trouble, but not succeeding. McDonald again. Hoddle in the way once more. McDonald. Ardiles to Hoddle. And the long ball searches out Archibald. Another fine pass from Glenn Hoddle. Crooks has gone into the inside left position to let Archibald go right. Villiers. He was a bit tentative and he lost the ball. And Power trying to find Bennett, but Roberts was in the way, and here's Houghton. 20 minutes gone as Spurs come forward. 2 superb passes from Glenn Hoddle in the opening 20 minutes. Hutchison. Gow. This is Caton. And now Hoddle. Referee played a good advantage there. Spurs had the ball. That's a free kick, though. Roy Ranson a little over-enthusiastic. Referee wanting to let the game flow. The first time he allowed Spurs to continue, but the rhythm of the attack broken up by the foul. Ardiles short to Perryman. In comes Graham Roberts at the back, and Corrigan held on when just for a split second Roberts' header looked as though it might go underneath the goalkeeper, who may be hurt. Steve Perryman swung that ball across for Graham Roberts' header, and Corrigan clung onto it well with Crooks in attendance. First noteworthy goal-bound attempt, that. Here's Ranson. Good save by Joe Corrigan. Halfway through the first half, no score. Ardiles for Spurs. Archibald, but Mackenzie for City now. That's a foul. Perryman coming in behind his man. This is Power. He's got Bennett in the centre. There's Bennett. Can he turn it? Oh, it hit Roberts. Graham Roberts involved in both penalty areas. David Bennett, the man who could so easily have scored. Paul Power made it possible with the run. He checked twice, got the ball in with his left foot. Bennett span, the shot hit Roberts. Power on, McDonald nearly scored. And there's a player that Tottenham must watch on set pieces. Bobby McDonald, who comes in from the back on corners. The flick on here, as you can see, is by Paul Power, and look how close McDonald was. It just wanted a touch, although Houghton was on the line. McDonald scored twice against Everton in the 6th round replay. Hoddle for Tottenham. Archibald, challenged by Caton, it came to Ardiles. Looking for Galvin. Houghton, that's good play. Galvin. Archibald is far post, Crooks further in, it's Galvin! And Corrigan saved it! Tony Galvin had a shot there that was going in the far corner, and Joe Corrigan got a hand to it. The two strikers took the other players away. Galvin's left foot and a very good reflex save. Low down. Well, Payton got the wrong side of Crooks, and Crooks thought he was fouled there. But Joe Corrigan now has made two important saves, and that one he'll be particularly pleased with. They're always difficult when they're low down, close to a goalkeeper like that, from close range. It's a good stop. Roberts. McDonald. Steve McKenzie's begun a run across to the left, and Power will look for him, number 9, McKenzie. Played again for Power. Defender covering was Houghton, and the linesman must feel there that Houghton was fouled. The referee will apply an advantage and let Tottenham continue. Flag was up, though. That was Caton beating Crooks. Now McKenzie. Bennett. Ardiles. Crowded out, rather. McKenzie. Steve Perryman sorting things out. Glenn Hoddle, a lovely touch. He was fouled by Gow and the ball had gone, seen by the referee, who again let play go rightly. Hoddle. Galvin. Foul this time by Ray Ranson. Some heavy tackles going in by Manchester City to try and disrupt the Tottenham rhythm. Referee won't... he wants a free kick taken, surely, not a throw-in, as Chris Houghton tried to take. Miller and Roberts have taken up far post positions, but this is Ardiles. He was looking for a free kick there. This is Gow. Bennett now. It could be 1 against 1 if he's quick. Miller's got back. Still Bennett. Onside, Gow. Reeves is far post. Ranson.
Interesting to see David Bennett there, the quiet player. Really been more effective, I suppose, so far than his sort of counterpart Garth Crooks in the Spurs side, but he's a dangerous player. He seldom wastes it, as you saw with that ball at the right wing there. Good vision.
It's Reed covering for City. And a good ball to Bennett. McKenzie. Gow. That was Roberts. Now it's Hutchison. Houghton sticking close to him. Ardiles. Crooks. Hoddle. Archibald's pulled away to the right. Crooks is down the left. What good control. It's Archibald. It's Hoddle. It's Villiers. And it won't run for Tottenham because City had so many bodies back on the 18-yard line. Good collective play. Reeves to McDonald, who's got out quickly. Bennett. McKenzie. Offside against Kevin Reeves. As the match goes on, one feels that the first goal becomes more and more important, because in 7 of the last 13 finals, one goal has been enough. Indeed, 15 of the last 17 have been settled by an odd goal. Archibald to Crooks. Ardiles away from Mackenzie nicely. Gow is back there, Ardiles cross. Ray Ranson heading out. Hutchison doing enough to confuse Villiers and getting it back from Power. Bennett. Bennett battling away well there for City. Very persistent. He's coming through again. He's got Reeves in support here. Here's Ranson. Oh, and a flying header and a brilliant goal. Tommy Hutchison on the ground. And would you believe it? A fantastic header by the oldest man playing in the final. Kevin Reeves turned, floated the ball in, Ranson put it forward and Hutchison came through and scored. Crossed by Ranson and headed beyond Alexic's despairing dive. Half an hour gone. Well, at 33, he makes his mark in a Wembley final with a most unusual goal for him, because how often does Tommy Hutchison head the ball? The same question was asked last year of Trevor Brooking, and a similar thing has happened, and they both wore number 10. City take the lead, and Tottenham now have got to get themselves sorted out. Well, he'll remember that moment for the rest of his life. It was a brilliant header to come through in that position and beat the goalkeeper with power and accuracy. So the Northern fans enjoying this part of the afternoon as Archibald comes away for Spurs. John Bond put his faith in Tommy Hutchison last November when he signed him from Coventry. They called it a bargain buy at the time, and my word, it has been. And that'll give him the confidence to inspire the others. Gow. Power to McDonald. This is Miller. Hoddle. Here's Mackenzie. And now it's Ranson, the man who supplied the cross for the goal. It was good support play by Ray Ranson, and it bears out what John Bond said when he first took over at Main Road. He said that he thought the tactics were too complicated and that the players had got to get the ball into the penalty area sooner. That's exactly what Ranson did, and that's how they scored. Simplicity being the keynote, as it so often is in football, even at top level. Ranson again. Gow. Power. Mackenzie, City playing with a swaggering confidence at the moment. McDonald. Bennett, challenged by Roberts, foul. Roberts reacting slightly as Bennett backed into him. And Tottenham have got to collect their call here. This is Reeves onside. Side netting. My impression is that Spurs, as you can see from the arguments there of Graham Roberts and Steve Perryman, are completely at sea in defence just for this period of the match. The goal has shaken them, and they allowed Reeves untold room there from the free kick. The marking was non-existent. And the lucky end, where the City supporters are gathered, is a mass of sky blue. Ardiles, Hoddle, Villiers still well forward. Here's Crooks. Crooks is on a run here. Joe Corrigan did brilliantly. Mistake by Nicky Reed initially, who's on the ball now. The third time Corrigan has saved City. That was quick, brave goalkeeping. He saw the danger when Reed's back pass fell short, and as he rings his right hand, he came to meet Garth Crooks and beat him. And Crooks is one of the quickest things around. Ten minutes left in the first half. Manchester City 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in the 100th Cup final. This is Miller for Spurs, who so far haven't developed their game where they want to through the middle of the field, because City are suffocating them there. Caton. Crooks being marked here by McDonald. And still Crooks. Archibald, promising for Tottenham, but not like that. Hutchison was back defending. Here comes Houghton. Rather impetuous and lost out to Ranson, who's got a bit of room here. Houghton's trying to get back. Oh, that's a foul by Graham Roberts, and the referee has gone to his pocket. Keith Hackett. A foul on Paul Power by Graham Roberts, and the first booking of the final. Roberts, whose fairly aggressive, direct style has got him a lot of disciplinary points this season. There was a possibility he could have been suspended before the final, and he gets booked for that. Hutchison takes it, and in they come again. That was dangerous. Crooks. It was Mackenzie who was furthest forward then for the header. Archibald. Gal got the ball away from Villiers. That's been the pattern of the first half. Hutchison again. And now Galvin for Spurs. Overrunning it. Jimmy Hill.
A marvellous moment for Tommy Hutchison. He's not a prolific scorer in the league, of course, but on the other hand, on big occasions like this in cup ties, he does suddenly pop up with a goal that counts. But a lot of that preliminary work, which we didn't see on the replay, came from young Dave Bennett. He put all the pressure on to leave the freedom of the players on the right to get that final ball in. But it was Tommy Hutchison's moment of glory.
Can't really keep the delight out of Jimmy's voice when you think who Hutchison played for before he signed for City. However, they lead 1-0, and he's the scorer. By Mackenzie, and here's Houghton for Tottenham. That's Villiers, and that was Hoddle, and this is Archibald. And power for Manchester City. It's that harassing in the middle of the field of City's that's made life so hard for Spurs. They can't thread their game together when the man on the ball is under such immediate pressure. There's Gow. There's a foul on Glenn Hoddle. Crooks. Foul by Hutchison on Ardiles. Free kick quickly taken by Tottenham. Here's Hoddle. It was Power who beat him, and Bennett got checked there by Paul Miller. Free kick to City. 6 minutes left in the first half. Spurs trail by 1-0, and as yet haven't done themselves justice against a City side who've tightened their grip on the game. On by Reeves. Won back by Gal for City. Now what can Ardiles do? Beaten first off by Power, but here's Galvin. Two players across to meet him and forcing his cross to go behind the goal. But another example of just how incessant this marking is of Manchester City's. Galvin was down the left wing all right, but not only was Ranson there, Nicky Reed in the picture was covering as well, making it virtually impossible with Ranson for Tottenham to get the cross in to service Archibald and Crooks. Mackenzie for City. This is Perryman to Villa. Power. Villa again. And Hoddle away from the flying tackle of Hutchison, and he's going to get Galvin in. Brought down was he by Ranson. The referee is looking, Galvin's appealing, and the referee has pointed the other way and given handball in the end against Tony Galvin. It was another spectacular crossfield pass by Glenn Hoddle, who measured it once more. Ranson looked beaten, but I think Galvin just caught Ranson's foot rather. It didn't look like a clear-cut penalty to me. Even though the Spurs fans are whistling and Galvin appealed, it would have been very, very harsh on City. On by Reeves. And here comes Mackenzie. And the ball came off Perryman. Archibald. Hoddle, who has delivered 3 marvellous passes, but they've only been punctuation marks in the first half for Tottenham, in which the play generally has drifted away from them. There are 3 minutes left in the first half, and Chris Hughton perhaps wanting more time and room than Spurs are being given. This is Roberts. And that's Roberts and Gow, the ball going loose to Power. This is Gow again. This is Bennett for City, and he's made a bit of space for himself here. Villa for Tottenham. That's a lovely ball. Glenn Hoddle. That was more like the Tottenham that we know. Archibald. They're pushing forward here with Galvin, away by Caton. The two lads at the back keeping their concentration for the moment, Caton and Reed. Here's Mackenzie. Reeves. Just a couple of minutes left in the first half here. Galvin for Spurs. Villa. Good challenging by Ray Ranson, having a good first half. Touched the ball in for Bennett. Oof. Roberts slipped it first and then recovered and found Hoddle, and now Crooks has come off. But couldn't control the ball with his first touch, and that's Reed. Reeves is closing in here for City. And Alexic seemed to go a shade late, and Reeves collided with him. And he's on his back still as Tottenham come on to the attack. Hutchison, Reed. This is Ranson. And Roberts is so brave, and he got it right in the face, and I think it was from his own player, Chris Hughton. Graham Roberts in the wars in every sense. He's already been down once after the collision with Bennett, and my impression there was that Hughton, his own player, caught him full in the face and laid him out. They both came across for the same ball here. There's Hughton's leg. Yes, it is. It's left foot of Chris Hughton, buried in the face of Graham Roberts. No wonder Hughton looks so concerned. And a worried Keith Birkinshaw. His side a goal down. Their rhythm interrupted from the start, if truth be told, by the urgency of Manchester City's play, and now their centre-back laid out after a collision with his own player. Meantime, the earlier injury to Kevin Reeves when he collided with Alexic has been dealt with, and he's back on his feet. We're already into time added on for stoppages in the first half, and the applause is for Graham Roberts. The referee will have a considerable amount of injury time to add on. This is Hutchison. And this is Crooks. Now it's Bennett. Reeves pulling away to the left. Bennett's made his way into the penalty area, joined by McKenzie. Backing up his power, this is still Reeves. And now it's Hoddle for Tottenham. Good ball, Crooks. Galvin had that save from his shot by Corrigan, which was a significant moment in this first half. Hughton. Ardiles, Villa. And McDonald covers for Manchester City. The more you think about it, the more you realise how crucial those early saves could have been from the City goalkeeper. This is Hoddle, and a header out by Reed, only to Villa, and McDonald again, intercepting very neatly indeed. Hoddle. Villa. Good cross, it's going to come to Galvin. Good turn by him, and off Hutchison for a corner. The ball is on to Hughton. The header out finds Hoddle. Back in for Archibald and Crooks to compete. Offside, Crooks. Offside. Chris Hughton in some space here. The ball was played in by Glenn Hoddle, but the linesman was flagging for offside. The player caught was Crooks, who went in there. Corrigan forced to make the save just in case. And what a good first half he's had. Made 3 telling saves, Joe Corrigan, at important times. And the referee blows for half-time. And once Corrigan had made those saves, Spurs' early rush was contained, and Tommy Hutchison, who looks up at the scoreboard and sees his name there as the scorer of the only goal of the first half. It came on the half hour, a flying header, one that'll be remembered a long time, one of those cup final goals that'll be replayed so often, from a cross by Ray Ranson, after good build-up, first by David Bennett and then by Kevin Reeves. Ranson, number 2, crossed it, Hutchison, number 10, put it in, and at half-time in the 100th cup final, it's Manchester City 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Well, a lot of entertainment in that first half. Watched with interest by our 2 experts, Jimmy Hill and Laurie Mc...
The players come out for the second half just to confirm those statistics about cup finals that have been settled by the only goal. It's remarkable in recent years how many 1-0s there have been. Laurie McMenemy will remember with affection 1976 when Southampton beat Manchester United, but 7 of the last 13 FA Cup finals have seen only 1 goal scored, including last year, naturally, when West Ham beat Arsenal. And only twice in the last 17 finals has a team won by more than 1 goal, more than a 1-goal margin, that is. And the Spurs manager, Keith Birkinshaw, will remember one of those occasions, because Newcastle were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool in 1974. The goal that's been scored today, then, which separates the two teams for the moment, scored by number 10 there, Tommy Hutchison. The other occasion, incidentally, when there was a victory by more than 1 goal in recent years was 1975, when West Ham beat Fulham 2-0. So will the 1 goal be enough this year? That's the question, as the players prepare to start the second half of the 100th FA Cup final. Keith Birkinshaw, having given his half-time team talk, his substitute, incidentally, is Gary Brooke, if he wants to change anything. John Bond taking his seat on the bench, and the referee has to restart the second half because 1 or 2 Tottenham players were in the other half, and John Bond's got time to settle down, and so have we. So away we go. City now playing from the right, and Joe Corrigan in goal will have been congratulated, I'm sure, in the dressing room for those important saves. Here's Chris Hughton for Tottenham. Straight to Jerry Gow, though. Ardiles to Galvin. And a foul. Tottenham need every bit of support they can get now, because they keep giving the ball away. Mackenzie. Caton. Perryman to Hoddle. Perryman again, his inspiration is going to be an important factor now for Spurs. He was left on the floor by Paul Power then. This is McDonald. Oh, Roberts got the wrong side of Bennett and Hughton had to cover. But that could be interesting for Crooks. He got the header on it. Hutchison to Gow. Reed. Offside. By the way, the bookmakers, when they issued the list of odds for the first goal in this cup final, made Tommy Hutchison a 20-to-1 outsider. I wonder how many people put a few shillings on him. This is Perryman to Villa. Archibald, very dependent on the service he can get. This is Hughton, now Galvin. Can he get the ball in? He can to Ardiles. And it was a clearance by Paul Power, ricocheting off the Tottenham player. Power is a very intelligent footballer. He plays mainly on the left side, but his responsibilities extend beyond that. He's gone across several times to help out the other midfield players and to lead the side by example. Here he is now in his more familiar position. McDonald. Mackenzie. Appeals for handball, waved away. This is Perryman. Ricky Villa. Hoddle to Ardiles. The touch play that Tottenham want to exploit is on here. Crooks fouled from the back by Tommy Caton. And Spurs push Roberts and Miller forward. That was Hoddle's kick. It's Roberts' header back and volleyed clear by Nicky Reed. Archibald. Houghton. Gow. Houghton again. Tight to the line, Kevin Reeves beat him. Bennett, this is looking good for City. Houghton recovered magnificently there. And it was Miller finally that helped out. Perryman for Tottenham. Waddle. Perryman. Again, the tackles come in thick and fast. And this is Bennett, a nice little touchback. He's playing so well, David Bennett. This is Gow. Looking for Mackenzie with the reverse pass. Ardiles defending, and Hoddle brought down by Gow. John Bond has used Jerry Gow to snap at the heels of the playmakers on the opposing side in both semi-final and final, not allow them to dwell on the ball and dictate the shape of the play. And Ardiles has been contained in just that fashion up to now. This is Miller. And that's not true Tottenham, the long ball, hopefully searching out Crooks and Archibald. They prefer to play it more elaborately through the middle of the field, and are not being given the opportunity so to do. Reeves. Houghton. Willian. Perryman. Now that's good football. Crooks with Caton coming across. I was going to say coming across, he came right through Crooks. An impetuous challenge by young Tommy Caton. Garth Crooks was just ahead of the defence there. That's where his pace is vital. And look how Caton took him. Perhaps not as bad as it looked when you bear in mind how quickly Crooks moves and the fact that he just pushed the ball ahead of himself, which is maybe the allowance the referee made and didn't book Caton. Having said that, Crooks is down, and Mike Varney, the trainer, has come round the back of the goal. Here comes Roberts. It was nicely headed out, though, by Kevin Reeves. Here's Houghton. City beginning to come out now. And one defender stayed back, and it's put them all onside. Crooks is in there and away by McDonald. And everybody moved out, bar Nicky Reed. Ardiles with Reed now back in his normal position. This is Hoddle. Archibald making room here for Galvin. Header by Roberts. Villiers. McDonald. Ardiles. Tottenham moving now with more purpose. This is Archibald. Crooks coming across again. Perryman. Archibald. Hoddle is square. Archibald once more through the legs of Mackenzie. Oof, that was Caton. This is Crooks! Offside. Here's Jimmy Hill.
Well, it took 15 minutes for this cup final to warm up, but once it's warmed up, there's been an incident a minute. And, you know, just another one there just before play stopped. But obviously, Spurs 1-0 down, have got to attack. It looks more like the Spurs we've seen this season because they're pushing men up, which they didn't do in the first half. If you've got superior passing ability, you want targets. They haven't had enough targets up front because they've played a careful game up to now. But they've got a few now, and it's making the game fascinating.
On by Reeves. and away by Perriman. That's Mackenzie with Ardiles. To give Tottenham their due, they've given Corrigan more shots to save than City have given Alexic. But the one that counted, the header that counted, was the one that went past the Spurs goalkeeper on the half hour, and it's that which still separates the teams. Reeves. Gow with the shot, blocked by Roberts. McDonald. He was onside there, Paul Power. He's scored in every round of the FA Cup except round 5, the match at Peterborough where Tommy Booth got the goal. But in every other cup match, he scored against Everton in both games and against Ipswich in the semi-final. And the side that he leads have the one-goal advantage here. Kevin Reeves. This is Paul Miller. Oof. Gow's was the challenge, and Miller picks himself up. Caton. Hutchison to Gow. Off Houghton. Gilliard. Spurs, as Jimmy Hill said, committed to pushing forward and taking the odd chance at the back now. The ball's out on the far side. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Bennett. Hutchison. Away from Houghton, and Graham Roberts covering. But that's where Hutchison made his name as a natural winger. Tottenham once again losing their concentration for a moment. Hutchison wasn't very pleased with the way Houghton followed through there, and there was a little bit of reaction off the ball, which the referee, who I must say is having a very confident game, spotted immediately, Keith Hackett, and saw what happened between Houghton and Hutchison, and awarded Spurs a free kick. Archibald with McDonald. Here's Crooks. Crooks shot! Two goals in the semi-final replay. Garth Crooks, 21 in all this season, and a right foot shot there to Joe Corrigan's left. Just going away. Ardiles. Well, he got past Gow this time. And Hutchison. And he's found Crooks. And Ardiles is in here. Oh, it was blocked by Bobby McDonald. The Argentine went past two of them, but he couldn't beat the third. Very good covering by McDonald, the left back. After two City players had been beaten by the skill of Ardiles, McDonald was the man who went across and made a tremendous saving tackle on the Argentine and injured himself in the process. He got away from Gow. Hutchison played the 1-2 with Crooks, and there's McDonald going in now with all the other defenders spread-eagled. That tackle kept his side in the lead and deprived Ardiles of perhaps a memorable moment. I say perhaps because he would still have had to have beaten Corrigan, which today has so far proved impossible. But John Bond will know that his defence and midfield there, perhaps for the first time, was caught out. Once he got past Jerry Gow, City had problems. That's significant in a way. And Ardiles was able to play the 1-2, slide his way past another defender who was Reed, and then it was McDonald. So Galvin with the corner for Spurs. In comes Roberts. Ardiles couldn't make it, and Corrigan could. At the feet of Paul Miller, I think, the player who actually challenged him last. Well, big Joe Corrigan is showing all his experience and his expertise today. Bad header by Roberts, straight to McKenzie. Ray Ranson's up on the right wing. Power is the other way. Reeves, McKenzie, Reeves. McKenzie's in here! McKenzie's in! Oh, he couldn't control it when it mattered. It ran away from him onto the other side of the post and away. Steve McKenzie at 19 made that possible in the first place by playing it in with Reeves, got the return onside, got past Alexic and put it against the wrong side of the post. 2-0 there, and those City supporters would have felt their side had got one hand on the cup. Spurs will see that as a real let-off. Now, can they come back and make the most of it? Ardiles. Hoddle. Good tackle by Nicky Reed. Crooks gets it back. Ardiles coming more into the game now. And Reed's there. Well, Wembley still humming over that McKenzie miss. Header was by Miller, then by Power. Reeves to McKenzie. Offside. Paul Power. Caton's header, Perryman for Spurs. Spread wide for Tony Galvin, but it was Hutchison back there covering. Now Reeves being marked by Roberts. Roberts has already been booked, he's got to be rather careful. Hutchison, offside.
We asked beforehand, John, whether it would be a vintage final, the 100th, and my goodness it is. Whatever happens now, those last two moves, one from either side, with Ardiles at one end and McKenzie at the other, really, have put it in a class apart. It's a magnificent match, and it's a long way from over yet.
Here's Power for City to Bennett. McKenzie. Villiard for Spurs. Reeves. Nicely worked that. It's similar to the goal move, this. Ranson taking it from Reeves and getting it in. This time there was no Hutchison on the end of it, but he's nearly in there now. He is. Gow. Here's Hutchison. Oh, Crooks reacting with a fierce tackle and Hutchison retaliating. Crooks was the guilty party for flying in there and playing the man, not the ball. It's a free kick to Manchester City. But as Jimmy says, it's warmed up now into a thrilling final. Spurs are still a goal down, and they're on the defensive. The barrage of noise coming from the right-hand end, where the City fans are. Hutchison with the kick. Offside flag is up immediately. And Bennett has a little tussle with Graham Roberts in the penalty area, and a few elbows go in there. Temperatures rising, and referee Keith Hackett had a quick word to Perryman as the players ran out, perhaps saying just cool it. This is Archibald under pressure from Nicky Reed, number 4. Number 4 in the blue, that is. Goal kick. Spurs. Oh, Power for City. Bennett's on this side as well. Perryman trying to atone for his own error. Got the tackle in on Power. And it's Houghton for Tottenham. But he had to go back because City just press up on the man with the ball all the time. That was Reed. Houghton. Last time Manchester City won the cup was in 1969. That was another 1-0 final against Leicester. Ardiles for Tottenham. And again they're gathered round him, and he's got a free kick for the second challenge by Hutchison. Houghton. City defending in packs again. Reeves helping out there, the striker in number 11. It's a very good team performance this by John Bond's side. They've worked hard to cover one another in every area of the field, making Tottenham's task so much more difficult to get their game going. See the line there. Here's Hutchison. And this is Mackenzie in space. Now, Bennett to his right, Reeves to his left. And he put the ball too far ahead of Bennett, and he knows only too well what a poor pass that was. Jimmy, just a word about the referee, who I think's having a good final.
I agree, John. He's doing wonderfully well. He's allowed the game to flow. He's played the advantage role. And I just hope that the little bit of temper that we've seen in the last 5 minutes doesn't make it impossible for him to continue doing that. Caton turning it back. On by Bennett.
So 20 minutes gone in the second half of the 100th FA Cup final. Manchester City 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Spurs and City have had their substitutes trotting up and down in front of the bench. Gary Brook, you can see there. My feeling is if it goes much longer like this, Brook will definitely come on. This is... oh, it would have been Houghton, but the pass misplaced by Crooks. Here's Hutchison. Roberts. Galvin. Nicky Reed. He and Caton have kept up their task so persistently. This is Perryman. Glenn Hoddle, who hasn't had quite the influence on the second half. Villiers. He's got a bit of space here, though, and Galvin's got some space on the left for Spurs. They pulled the defence right across, and they've got 4 people waiting in the centre. One of whom is Archibald. Steve Mackenzie got the ball away. And Tottenham are going to make a substitution. And Ricky Villiers is going to be called off, I fancy. Gary Brook is certainly waiting. This is Hoddle. Houghton. And this is Ransom now. Only Bennett upfield. Hoddle for Spurs. Villiers. Galvin. Into Crooks. Galvin. Slight deflection, taking the sting out of the shot. So Gary Brook, who began the season in Sweden, playing for a club out there, is going to finish it in the FA Cup final. Here's Perryman. Villiers. Oh, he's given the ball away there to McDonald. Reeves. McDonald, he's got 2 in the centre. Gow is joining them now. Bennett is coming in, but it was too high for him. And the ball has been in play for an awful long time, which is why Tottenham have not been able to get Brook on the field. But that's a free kick. Maybe this is the moment they want to do the exchange. There are 22 minutes left. Now that substitution, Ricky Villiers has gone to the line. I should think they just made sure that Galvin was all right, but Villiers coming off, and disappointed he is too. The sad face of a man who's been withdrawn during an FA Cup final, and a man who began it with such high hopes, the Argentine Ricky Villiers, replaced by Gary Brook. Gary Brook, noted for his fierce shooting, just the sort of man Keith Birkinshaw said yesterday, who might provide you with a goal out of nothing. I wonder. Archibald for Spurs. Gary Brook has gone in behind the strikers, and Ricky Villiers making his way sadly to the dressing rooms on the far side. Reminds me of the sad walk of Ratin in '66 in different circumstances. He looks very forlorn, but this is Mackenzie for City. Here comes Ranson, and they had to stretch to get that away from him. So away goes the sad figure of Ricky Villiers, and there won't be many more poignant pictures than that from this cup final. So it's a corner to Manchester City. And Tottenham can't afford another injury, because having just made the substitution, Tony Galvin, Hutchison trying to head it on. Well, I felt that Galvin was hobbling even as Brook came on for Villiers in a little collision over by the touchline, and he certainly hasn't got full mobility at the moment. So Spurs, having used their last card in Gary Brook, will be hoping that Galvin can run that off. Meantime, for City, this is Bennett. There are 20 minutes to go. Spurs are a goal down. They've got the substitute on, and this is Caton for City. Oh, a good header back, Mackenzie! From a very good knockback, which he applauds there, by Kevin Reeves. That's the simplicity of the John Bond style. The long ball by Caton, the knockback by Reeves, and the volley by Mackenzie. As the City fans respond again. On by Crooks. And here's Archibald. He's gone past Corrigan, he's got Brook in the middle. Can he turn it in? Brook again! And they had people all over the place on the line. Tremendous cover behind the goalkeeper. And Spurs saw the possibility there of the equaliser. At last they got past Corrigan, but look at the cover behind him. Gary Brook tries once, he's blocked by Caton. He tries again, and Joe Corrigan's back himself. Hoddle with the kick. Crooks at the far post, so was Roberts, who had the header. More goalkeeping to remember from Joe Corrigan. He was beaten the first time, but how fast he was to regain his ground. Graham Roberts still bleeding. He got that cut very early on. This is Mackenzie. That's Roberts' tackle, though. It's do or die now for Tottenham, as Galvin gets the ball. Referee wants that throw retaken further back. Very heavy collisions Roberts was involved with in the first half. First with Bennett, then with his own player Houghton, and that's one of the cuts anyway that he's suffered. Archibald's header on. Glenn Hoddle is well forward here, and predictably Paul Power is well back. What a great ball by Power. Down the line for Kevin Reeves. And the tackle by Gary Brook. And just for the record, only once has a substitute scored in an FA Cup final. Eddie Kelly, 10 years ago for Arsenal against Liverpool. Spurs fans hoping it might happen again today. But for the moment, they're in their own half with Ardiles. Now Glenn Hoddle. Ardiles. Brook. Well, he got away from Hutchison and he found Galvin. Galvin's got Houghton coming up in support. Here's Brook. Can he hit one from here? Crooks might. Hoddle. Perryman. Ardiles coming in. Here's Crooks! Archibald! Oh! Again the bodies are back there, blocking the path to goal. And the Spurs strikers, with 46 between them this season, just can't get through that wall of blue shirts. It's going to be Galvin with the corner. Archibald gets up, goal kick. Well, Archibald must be thinking now that twice Tottenham have made good shooting opportunities inside the penalty area, but the sheer volume of players between the ball and the goal line has counted in City's favour on both occasions. And the Spurs fans try to urge their side that little bit extra further forward with the famous Tottenham song. Alexis having to cut this off, it would have been a corner. Apart from the header that flew past him, he's had hardly any direct shots to save, the Spurs goalkeeper. City haven't won the match there so much, they've won it by tightening their grip in midfield and defending terribly well in their own 18-yard area. Bennett for City. Tackled by Miller. Hoddle. Chipping it down the line, but Archibald's got a lot of ground to make up here on Caton. What a competitive performance by the youngest player in the final, Tommy Caton at 18. 15 minutes to go, his side lead by 1-0. Just the obvious reminder that should Spurs score and the score be 1-1 up to 90 minutes, there would be extra time. And there's even provision for a replay next Thursday. For the moment, though, the City fans will be hoping that thanks to the saves of Corrigan and the all-round urgency of their side, they will carry off the cup. Perryman to Hoddle. Very hard to come back from a goal behind in a cup final, especially in the last quarter of an hour when the legs are tired and the spirit tends to weaken a little bit. But Tottenham have got to attempt that, and Alexis comes to meet Bennett and attempt it by taking risks now. The time for caution has gone for Spurs, not that they were ever cautious, but they've got to send people up from the back a little bit and hope they can snatch the equaliser, and in turn that may leave a space for City to get the second goal, which would surely clinch the cup. The match is balanced like that for the moment, with Ranson taking the throw. Reeves, Ranson, offside against David Bennett, but what a good match he's had. Preferred to Dennis Stewart, and he's justified the selection. Gary Brook. Well, that's good play by Brook. Houghton. Ardiles is well forward here. So is Archibald. So is Crooks. Couldn't get past his man. Ardiles trying to make some space. It's been played square for Glenn Hoddle to chip it back in. This is Perryman. They've got so many players in there now. That's Huddle's cross. Ardiles up. It's going to come right out to Galvin, and now it's Archibald. And now it's Ardiles. And Corrigan goes down. Ardiles goes down. The danger appears to have passed, but here comes Spurs again. Archibald to Houghton. Ardiles turning it on now. Pulls it back again to Galvin. They just can't find room to get the cross in. They have now, and it's volleyed clear by Tommy Caton. And look at City now with 2 against 2. Hutchison plays the telling ball, and David Bennett against Gary Brook. And it's not over yet. Reeves is free. Still Reeves. Gow. Crooks gets back to challenge him. Referee says play on. Hutchison stamps in on Crooks, and the referee says let it go again. Ranson Offside Bennett. Tremendous climax to this FA Cup final as Spurs throw it all in at the other end and City continue to resist. Archibald fouled by Caton. Flipped on by Crooks for Archibald. Mackenzie got that away to Gow, and then it was Power. City closing ranks and pulling everybody back behind the ball and making Tottenham start all over again. Well, they're now truly feeling the tension on the bench. Ardiles. Handball, was it? Referee said no. Hutchison, nice ball. Reeves. Gow. The calming influence of these experienced players is important at this stage of the afternoon. This is Ardiles taking them on. Gow tries to get his tackle in and he does right on the edge. And could we see a Glenn Hoddle special? Spurs love these free kicks. Archibald has just pushed Power away very roughly and is being spoken to by the referee for that. But Glenn Hoddle is the player you'd back to create something from 20 yards out from a free kick. 10 minutes to go. Is he going to float it in for the strike force on the far post, or will he try and chip Corrigan from here? And that was Hoddle. Oh, Hutchison, it's in! Tommy Hutchison has scored at both ends, if you call it an own goal. Hoddle will get the congratulations from Tottenham, but it went in on Tommy Hutchison. Oh, how cruel cup finals can be. He was the hero in the first half, and he's the villain now. Glenn Hoddle chipped the ball. Tommy Hutchison, that's got to be an own goal. Corrigan had gone the other way. Incredible. And Glenn Hoddle, the free kick maestro, has done it again. The deflection off Hutchison, the score 1-1, but Glenn scored in the semi-final against Wolves from that exact position, and he's bent the ball against Hutchison, and Spurs are level. Well, the same penalty area, almost the same spot. Tommy Hutchison must be wondering quite what fate has done to him. Spurs on the attack again with Archibald. Hoddle. Oh, he's given it away to Hutchison. And he's taken on Chris Hughton. To go, and Tottenham score at a time when City look to be soaking up as much of the pressure as they possibly could. Glenn Hoddle may well claim the goal as his, but it certainly went in off Tommy Hutchison. Hoddle. Perryman. And this is Gary Brook. That's a fair cross away by Tommy Caton. This is Perryman. It's Hoddle. And Perryman again. And there are 4 Tottenham players forward now. This is Brook. Just listen now to the Spurs fans. Ardiles, goal kick. Here's Jimmy Hill.
Well, I said the game wasn't over yet, and it certainly wasn't. Once Gary Brook came on and gave Spurs that extra bite in midfield, which they haven't had all the time, I talked about getting Perryman there, but Gary Brook is a miniature Perryman, and he has made that difference, and he's given them 3 players up front, and they can show us just what they've been able to do when it comes to interpassing. It's very enjoyable to watch.
Archibald for Tottenham. Ardiles. Now Galvin is wide on the left. He's got Garth Brooks in. Oh, blocked by McDonald, and the referee says nothing. Well, Garth Brooks will feel that he should have at least had an indirect free kick. McDonald seemed to come across his line of his path, but the referee was happy that McDonald wasn't guilty of impeding him intentionally. So, 6 minutes to go, 1-1, and the 100th Cup final seems to get better and better. Roberts for Tottenham. Payton. Goes Paul Power. Well, are we going to see extra time for the first time since 1971, when a northern team took the lead and a London club came back to win 2-1? That was the Arsenal-Liverpool final. There are 5 minutes to go here of normal time. It's 1-1, and it's Bennett for City. Now Ardiles. Gary Brook, who came on as the substitute. Crooks and Archibald both well forward. Here's Crooks. Nearly into Archibald. Ardiles trying to find Galvin. Hutchison is back. This is Paul Power. And that's a foul by Brook. Reeves again. Mackenzie didn't quite get that volley to carry. There are 4 minutes to go. It's Glenn Hoddle for Spurs. And now it's Archibald. And now it's Brook. And there's space on the left and City are stretched. Galvin for Tottenham. Chris Hughton's coming up inside him. Goal kick. Well, the minute that free kick was awarded, the Spurs fans knew there was hope. Because if anybody can produce a goal from there, it has to be Glenn Hoddle. And the deflection was fortunate. It definitely was the deflection that beat Corrigan. But the goal counts. And Spurs look like forcing extra time at this moment, but it may not even go to that. Here's Hutchison. Oh, and a touch there by Mackenzie on the near post. And although the Wembley scoreboard, Hutchison who crossed the ball, although the Wembley scoreboard is currently giving the goal to Hoddle, if Tommy Hutchison actually gets credited with a goal at both ends, he won't be the first man in a cup final to do that. Bert Turner of Charlton in 1946 scored at both ends in the final against Derby County. There was extra time then, and Derby won 4-1 for the record. The Spurs fans may prefer to give the goal to Hoddle, but here's Jimmy Hill.
What a memory you've got, John. How you come up with statistics like that, I will never know. Quite fantastic. But the game has turned around completely now, and if you had to pick a favourite, you would say it's got to be Spurs. That substitution, without any doubt, has influenced the game, because Gary Brook has given Spurs command in the midfield for the first time. There's another reason too. Tommy Hutchison and Jerry Gow are feeling their age, and they are not the most sprightly of players, I would say, at this stage of the game, and they won't be in extra time. But they're battling still.
2 minutes to go of normal time. Hutchison for City, offside against Jerry Gow. Well, he's played such a part, you have to believe he's going to do something else. The oldest man on the field at 33, and he couldn't have ended his career in a more dramatic fashion than this. That was power. Kevin Reeves, who's played extremely well for City with that close control, but is finding now that the Spurs' confidence is sore. And this is Hoddle. Crooks. Hoddle was... Oh, that's Tommy Caton, not for the first time, slicing guard Crooks. And the second offence means a booking. Tommy Caton's name into the referee's notebook. Roberts was booked in the first half, and standing in the tunnel watching all this is Ricky Villar there, just behind the commissionnaire's left shoulder, having been substituted. An unusual shot there by our cameraman. And the score is 1-1. Hoddle. And there's only 30 seconds left of normal time. But the referee will add on, I would imagine, a couple of minutes of time for stoppages. Houghton for Tottenham. Oh, he's gone past Bennett nicely. Nicky Reed. Well, I must say Ardiles has had a much better second half than he had in the first half. That pass of his looking for Crooks was too long, and the referee will have seen that 90 minutes is up and will now decide how much time he's going to allow for stoppages. Manchester City had to play extra time in their first semi-final, so did Spurs. So extra time would be nothing new to them in this season's FA Cup competition. Reed. Ransom. And 90 minutes goes by, full of incident, but the score is 1-1. Tommy Hutchison involved in both the goals. Joe Corrigan, who kept his side in the match early on, but could do nothing about the deflected free kick. Ossie Ardiles getting some massage there. Players will be worried about cramp. Let's have a word from Jimmy Hill.
Well, it's an extraordinary afternoon here at Wembley. I don't know when I've enjoyed a cup final as much, probably because apart from the incidents that we've seen from the first 15 minutes onwards, the result has always been in doubt. We've seen there's Keith Birkinshaw trying to drag the last ounce of strength out of his tired players. It's almost a travesty of justice to try and pick a man of the match, because they really all have been heroes here this afternoon.
And from the players' tunnel, Ricky Villar wanders out again. Now only a spectator, but the 100,000 spectators here are looking forward to extra time. The score at the moment, 1-1.
The sweet and sour for Tommy Hutchinson, wasn't it? I mean, he got that marvellous goal.
Cruel game.
Let's just have a look at it, because Joe Corrigan, who's made such marvellous saves, had no hope, had he?
Well, he covered the shot, the first shot. This is a well-worked free kick, which is often used in the English First Division. Joe was over for it. Poor Tommy doing his little bit at the back, and it's made him the hero and the villain.
How important, Laurie, do you think the substitution has been?
Well, I didn't think it had an immediate effect, although the lad could have scored with his first kick. But since the goal, when the other players have been all uplifted, his presence has given the balance which only City had before with Gow, and it's coincided, as Jimmy Hill pointed out, with Gow losing that little bit of steam, which is now making him touch the ball 2 and 3 times instead of hitting it early.
There's been so much that's been so good in the match, worthy of our First Division every week, Laurie, hasn't there?
Yes.
Just a quick final word as the players go back to their positions. You tipped City, yes, but have you got reservations now?
The feeling that I have is that if there's going to be a winner, there was, towards the end, would be Tottenham. It depends on if people like Tommy Hutch there in the picture and Gow can rekindle a bit of the fire, but certainly Tottenham have got their tails up now, and on chances and shots created, they deserve to go into extra time.
Well, just before we go back to John Motson, some news from the Scottish Cup final. It's in extra time. Dundee United 0, Rangers 0, and Rangers have missed a penalty. Well, now for the extra time in the English Football Association Cup final, here's John Motson.
So here we go again. They say the English season will never lay down and die. The football seems to go on forever, but nobody's complaining today, except perhaps him. So City playing now as they were towards the end of the 90 minutes from right to left. 2 periods of 15 minutes here as we enter extra time in an FA Cup final for the first time since '71. And here's Glenn Hoddle for Spurs. Ranson for City. Up goes Graham Roberts. Houghton. The last Wembley draw, by the way, after extra time, the only one in an FA Cup final, was in 1970 when Chelsea and Leeds drew here and had to replay at Old Trafford. If there was a replay this year, it would be back here at Wembley next Thursday evening. This is Steve Perryman. Header by McDonald. Crooks. Gary Brooke, he can hit one here! I remember the fourth round against Hull City when Tottenham were in a spot of trouble and Gary Brooke came on and his powerful shooting turned the match. Just got underneath that one, rather. McKenzie. Offside. Let's bear in mind too that there's more at stake here than just a showpiece and lifting the FA Cup. The winners go into Europe next season. That may seem a long way off, but it's vital to Tottenham in particular. Hutchison. Houghton. Crooks. Brooke. Hutchison. This is full power. It's a good job that Roberts challenged Reeves there because the ball pass was on and City would have been through. Instead, here's Glenn Hoddle. That was rather ambitious. Headed away by Nicky Reed. McKenzie now. Hutchison. Oh, well played by Tony Galvin. That was brilliant. Still got to beat Reed though, and he can't. Wonder here if there's a shift in the emphasis of the game in the strikers, because whereas it would appear maybe that Bennett and Reeves are fading a little for City, Crooks and Archibald seem to have come onto their game late in the afternoon for Tottenham. There's Crooks. And Ardiles also had a quiet first half and has come into the game far more since. Graham Roberts square to Perryman. Hoddle. And that was a tackle by Power, and it put Hoddle off balance a little bit, and he gave the ball away. Here's Nicky Reed. Had a good match at number 4, and he's continuing his run there down the right-hand side. Caton. Away from Archibald and square to Bobby McDonald. Offside against David Bennett. City yet to use their substitute, and that's Tony Henry. Should any of John Bond's players tire in extra time, he could always bring Henry on. Oh, and Tommy Hutchison again. He robbed Chris Hughton, and they've got 3 up of City here. And Ardiles is defending for Spurs. That wouldn't have happened when he first came over from Argentina. To see him back there in his own penalty area intercepting. This is Archibald. Ardiles again. Tottenham coaching staff have really worked hard over the last 2 or 3 years to adapt the game of a world-class player and make him more responsible defensively. This is Miller for Tottenham. Brooks. Hoddle. Gary Brook pulling away, and so is Galvin on that side. Ranson lets it run, and safely so.
Strange how the pace has slowed just that little bit in extra time. Not strange, of course, because they've done enough running this afternoon. But that pause, the relaxation of sitting down and then starting again, meant that the game restarted at a different pace. They're thinking a little more now. They've composed themselves more and are beginning to look for tactical holes that they might exploit in this last phase of the game.
Interesting that the goal attempts in this final so far, 14 by Spurs and 8 by Manchester City, so Tottenham have certainly had more strikes on goal. Ranson trying to redress the balance rather, coming forward well. Mackenzie, Roberts, now Hoddle, and the 2 strikers up front starting their runs. This is Crooks. Wide of him, Archibald, number 8. Crooks again, Tottenham with plenty of players forward here. Ardiles. Brook. Galvin. Hughton. Ardiles. This is more like Tottenham's familiar style. Brook. This close passing. Galvin. And Jerry Gow still able to get in the telling tackle at the end of a very tiring afternoon. Tony Galvin finding some room on the Tottenham left, though. Hutchison again picks up pace. Garth Brooks, and there was going to be some retaliation there, and a brilliant piece of refereeing which prevented a nasty incident. A really first-class piece of refereeing by Keith Hackett, because Garth Brooks was out of order on Tommy Hutchison, and the retaliation might well have led to something we none of us want to see, a sending off, because retribution was about to be taken out on Crooks. Hutchison was very unhappy, and the referee, Keith Hackett, in booking Crooks for the foul, rightly, got in there to prevent that retaliation occurring. Just confirming what a good match the referee has had when the temperature has risen like that. Jerry Gow. Good play by Paul Power. Here's Mackenzie. It's Mackenzie's shot blocked. It's going to come to McDonald. And City pressing here. Gow. They've got so many blue shirts forward. McDonald. Bennett. Tussling with Graham Roberts and Ardiles. Roberts was good enough and strong enough to hold him off and find Galvin. Gow. Feet flying all over the place now. Hoddle. Caton up. Here's Hoddle. It was supposed to be the year of the cockerel, but it's been John Bond's year as well in a way, and the reason the teams are so evenly matched is that both sides have given full value for money in the 100th FA Cup final and continue to do so. be churlish to try and separate them, but the tackles are getting a little bit nasty now, and the referee has got a full-time job on retaining the control which we've all applauded. John Bond, thoughtful, masking his emotions at a tense time for managers, and Garth Crooks and Jerry Gow being spoken to. There have been 3 bookings: Roberts and Crooks of Spurs and Caton of Manchester City. That was Power. And that was Donald and Power rather in each other's way, but MacDonald sorting it out. And Hutchison's got Ranson up on the outside. Mackenzie's making the run down the right. Roberts into the crowd. One of his family could have caught that. Right in the top tier. If you've made any plans for Thursday evening, you might have to unscramble them, because we could be in for a replay here. But as always with cup finals, you just never know. First period of extra time, 1-1. Anything can still happen. Archibald. Ranson to Gow. David Bennett. And more. Well, it would be churlish to try and separate the sides, but Spurs have certainly given Corrigan more to do. And here's Perryman. McDonald's was the tackle, Reeves the cover, and the throw-in. The linesman said to Manchester City, I felt that. The referee, in fact, has given it to Spurs. Here's Archibald. Ardiles. Hoddle. 3 minutes left in the first period of extra time. Tottenham 1, Manchester City 1. Roberts for Spurs to Miller. The Tottenham fans a little restless, but it's difficult even now to get past this line of blue shirts. Spurs trying to play their way through, and Reed stopping them. Miller was a bit risky, but it found Ardiles, who's showing signs of tiredness with his socks rolled right down. Tends to tire towards the end of a match normally, does the little Argentinian. Has often been substituted, but it was his compatriot Villa who was taken off today. On by Archibald. Handball by Garth Crooks, was it? Referee said play on. Here's Perryman. Long cross, Tony Galgan's coming in. There's Brook. Oh, it went behind Archibald. Hoddle. And City coming out, but it's Crooks. No, it won't run for Spurs. But there was a chance in there. Galvin headed the ball back. Gary Brook perhaps had the cleanest chance, and it went behind Archibald. Well, Spurs have appeared to have the upper hand in this first period of extra time. But there's just no telling. The game can change so swiftly. I suppose psychologically, having come back when it looked as though it might be too late, Tottenham do have a mental advantage. I can see Tony Henry being warmed up by Manchester City. Here's Ranson. Power is well forward here, and Bennett goes in, and Alexic actually slipped coming off his line there. Ranson. Bennett. Chris Hughton is the defender. Referee says goal kick. So Tony Henry prepares. Very versatile player. He can come into 2 or 3 positions. Cramp the problem, I would think, for Chris Hughton on this sapping Wembley pitch. Ref, he says, give me some attention. Referee doesn't seem inclined to get the trainer on, so he's going to play on with one boot, is he? Anyway, it's all part of the 100th Cup final, and we get on with the game. Hutchison. Gow. This is the end of the first period of extra time we're coming to now, and the referee blows right on time. And as Chris Hughton gets attention for cramp, let's have a further word from Jimmy Hill.
And I think the first word, John, should be for the referee, who's handled it absolutely magnificently. Part of the reason I think the players have lost a little bit of edge and temper with each other is because of tiredness. They've given everything in this match. I don't think I've known a Wembley final where you could say that so much energy was expounded by every member of both sides. It really has been a fantastic match. There's John Bond talking to Tommy Hutchison. He's asking him, I think, whether he's okay, because a key move for City at the moment can be who they pull off. He's making the decision now. He just consulted with Tommy Hutchison, and now he's going to make the decision. Who is it going to be? I would take off David Bennett myself, because I think they're losing a little bit of fire up front. And good a game as he had at the start, I don't know quite. But anyway, Henry's coming in, and Tommy Hutchison, the man who probably has scored at both ends, basically now leaves the field. What a day for him. Now he can only sit and hope that the others finish the job that he started.
Thanks, Jimmy. And we're back in the centre circle for the final act in this drama. I say final for today, but a Thursday replay is now looming as a strong possibility, with Spurs playing now from the right in the second period of extra time. Here's Garth Crooks. Archibald's closing in. It's Galvin. Foul by Ray Ranson. Free kick to Spurs. Chris Hughton labouring on. Roberts comes in and Corrigan makes it look very easy indeed. And what a match he's had, the big goalkeeper. He'll look back on this cup final with pride. Perryman. That's Archibald. Hoddle. Crooks. Hoddle again. Beginning to impose his skill once more on the match. Here's Galvin. Hoddle. He does spread the ball about well. Miller. Ardiles. Hoddle. Up in the air for Gary Brook. Knocked back by Nicky Reed, and now Bennett. Tony Henry has taken up a midfield position for the moment. This is Reed. McDonald. Gow in space, took it down, but Roberts' favourite now. Not a very good ball, though. Paul Powers over there, so is Bennett. That's Bennett's turn. It's promising this. The shot coming out to McKenzie, who shoots wide. David Bennett, who had the first chance. He's feeling the rigour of the afternoon as well now. Steve McKenzie, whose shot went wide. Caton with the header. And now Perryman. Ardiles. Well, back in Buenos Aires, the families of the two Argentines have been watching this cup final live, and they'll have mixed emotions with Villa having gone off, and Ozzy Ardiles flickering in and out of the match, I think it's fair to say, but never truly dominating it. Ransom. Headed by Tony Henry. Power. Pushing. And you can forgive the players if the pace drops slightly in this second period of extra time, but on the other hand, one momentary loss of concentration could cost the cup now. That's what defenders have to be aware of. That was Graham Roberts. Perryman to Hoddle. And this is Bobby McDonnell for City, looking for Paul Power. It's too long. And Glenn Hoddle down with cramp. And this is an anxious moment for Spurs. They're at the moment playing with only 10 fit men. And Houghton himself has had problems. He's found Galvin though. And with Hoddle still down on the far side, here's Ardiles. And here's Mackenzie for City. Now, can they make use of the extra man? Houghton in the way. Mackenzie looking for Reeves. Gow! Good chance. Well, they had the spare man, City, and it was significant that a City midfield player got on the end of a cross, completely unmarked. Jerry Gow, that was, while one of his opposite numbers, Glenn Hoddle, was out of the game completely. Hoddle's back on his feet now. This is Galvin, and Ardiles has gone down. And Tottenham players everywhere now are getting cramp, and somebody's down for... Ray Ranson's down for City. This is the pitch littered with bodies here as players just run out of steam and the legs begin to tighten and cramp sets in. Well, Ardiles is going to put everybody onside unless he's careful. He's got up now. And Ranson's up as well. Roberts across. Well, could this cup final, I wonder, be settled in the end by sheer tiredness? It's certainly affecting Ozzy Ardiles. You can see it all over his face. Bennett for City. Good cross. Oh, well taken by Alexic from Paul Power, who'd come in close. A very smart piece of goalkeeping this time at the Tottenham end. David Bennett whipped that cross in. It was vicious and well taken by the man who's been nicknamed Elastic from time to time. Hoddle to Archibald. This is Perryman, and this is Crooks. Archibald. There are 8 minutes to go, and Hoddle finds Galvin. Inside to Crooks. Trying to turn Tommy Caton. Now Brook. Now Ardiles. And I think Gary Brook might have pulled a muscle. This is Perryman. Hoddle. Off Henry. Caton's header. Hoddle. And he's gone down again, Glenn Hoddle. It's a question of the fittest now who could affect what happens in the last few minutes. Here's Mackenzie. And this is Perryman for Spurs. I would say that in fitness terms, Tottenham have got the greater problems at the moment. Perryman's down, Brooks limping. Hoddle seems to be affected still by cramp, and Houghton, and Ardiles, and City have got the ball with Gow. Reid. Power, but he's been slowed as well now. They're almost too tired to run, most of the players. Reeves. Archibald for Tottenham. And some players having to sit it out at this stage. Power. Appeals for handball. Hoddle wanted to play that to the right wing, but Perryman's down. This is Brook. And Brook can hardly run. I think he might have pulled something rather than have cramp, Gary Brook. This is Galvin. Well, they've got 6 minutes to get through, and now another Tottenham player's gone down. Galvin this time. Well, the referee has clearly taken an overall decision. He's not going to stop the game for players who've got cramp, and here comes Archibald with Ranson. 6 minutes to go, 1-1, and a survival of the fittest. Nicky Reid. He's got no fitness problems. There are 3 in the middle. It's still Reid. It's Power now. Power's cross, and well taken by Alexa, who's been tested in extra time and come through well. Paul Power who swung it in. Well, Tony Galvin's been on the ground now for about 3 minutes. And he's technically offside, but I think one could safely say not interfering with play. This is McDonald. 5 minutes to go. Caton, Ardiles, McKenzie, Gow, and they've got 4 players well forward. Bennett, and it came off Roberts for a corner. Jerry Gow, and he's onside is Paul Power. Reeves letting it run, Bennett swinging at it. McKenzie, deflection on that. 4 minutes to go, and just look at the state of 1 or 2 of these Tottenham players. That's Graham Roberts in the picture. Well, some sort of Wembley history being made here with the sheer tiredness of it all. Gow. Power. Henry, that's Gow in low, Reeves could turn here, blocked by Garth Brooks of all people. Back in again by McKenzie, trying to find Bennett. Glenn Hoddle for Spurs, only one option, it's up to Archibald. And back by Reid, who seems to me to be about the fittest player on the field. He hasn't shown one tremor, Nicky Reid, of tiredness. 20 years old. This is Ray Ranson. Reeves is up there now. McKenzie started to run. Here's Power. Here's Gow. Now McDonald. 5 players in there. Reeves, and some climbing by him. So 3 minutes to go of extra time, and still the score is 1-1. Only once since the cup final came to Wembley has it gone to a replay. That was 1970, when Chelsea played Leeds and drew 2-2 here after extra time, and the players took their tired legs to Old Trafford, Manchester. A replay which was delayed at that time because of Leeds' European Cup commitments. This one would be next Thursday here at Wembley. McDonald across, the ball was still moving when he took the free kick. Retake. Well, are we going to see high drama in the last couple of minutes? Caton takes the kick. Half away by Houghton, then by Crooks. Now it's Ranson. Referee says no hands and plays on. It's Crooks who they appealed against. This is Houghton and now Crooks. And he's just spreading the play out but giving it away. This is Reeves. Power against Miller. There's a minute and a half left as Power earns a corner for City. Tony Henry will take. Then Hoddle up with Paul Power. It's come back again to Kevin Reeves. And now Henry. And now back to Gow. McDonald looking for Bennett. We're in the last minute. No foul. Brooks. Well, it looks like a replay, but maybe there's time for one last attack. Steve McKenzie for Manchester City. McDonald. Reeves being cut off here by Miller, who wants the ball to run, and the referee has blown. So, for the first time since 1970, and only the second time in Wembley history, the FA Cup final goes to a replay. It'll be on Thursday at 7:30 here at Wembley. It'll be the 10th replay in the 100 finals, but only the second since 1912. Joe Corrigan had an important part to play, but then who didn't? The two managers shake hands. Now in 1970, both teams went up to the royal box to shake hands with the royal guest, and both teams did a lap of honour, even though there was no cup and no medals to present. So, Ozzy Ardiles won't just play in one English Cup final, he'll play in two. Great reception from the fans at both ends. Keith Birkinshaw having to live through it all again next Thursday. And I think they're trying to tell the players who've gone to salute the fans that they want them to go towards the royal box. Some Tottenham players had come down to this end of the stadium to thank their supporters, and Tommy Hutchison, so involved in the two goals, looks on. And that's the toll that extra time took on Gary Brook, and I think that might be rather more than cramp in his case. And sure enough, the players making their way to the royal box to be presented to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, at the end of the second drawn FA Cup final in Wembley history. Paul Power leads Manchester City up first. No cup, no medals, just a handshake and a well done, and they all deserve that. Joe Corrigan's jersey matching the colours chosen today by the Queen Mother, but what significant saves the goalkeeper made. They're thanking their fans at the tunnel end. Nicky Reed, who played magnificently at the back, Steve McKenzie, Ray Ranson, who made the City goal, Tommy Caton, the youngest player in the final, did well. Tony Henry came on as substitute. Bobby McDonald, Kevin Reeves, David Bennett, Tommy Hutchison, who will never forget this match as long as he lives, Jerry Gow. And Steve Perryman leads Tottenham forward, and there are players in the Tottenham team who will do well to recover by Thursday next. So many were down with cramp and sheer exhaustion. Graham Roberts and Paul Miller there, particularly at the back, looked very, very tired in extra time when Alexic made 2 good saves. Steve Archibald, Roberts, who was twice injured, Villar, who was taken off, Gary Brook, who came on, Chris Houghton and Garth Crooks, and Osvaldo Ardiles at the back of the line, but not forgetting the referee, Keith Hackett, who officiated so well in what was not an easy match for a referee. And so the laps of honour, plural, will be carried out in the usual fashion. The fans will show their appreciation for a fine match, but they won't see the FA Cup carried round. Extraordinary season then for Manchester City. Relegation material in October, a blood transfusion from John Bond, safety from relegation, a League Cup semi-final, an FA Cup final which ends all square, and a replay to look forward to. And there are 1 or 2 Tottenham players now gathering caps and scarves from the fans around the side of the pitch as they come to salute their supporters. And those fans will be looking now at the ticket arrangements in the programme, many of which will be on sale tomorrow, to see if they can get here again next Thursday. You couldn't ask for 2 men who had a greater influence on the 100th Cup final than those 2. Joe Corrigan, who made so many fine saves, Tommy Hutchison, who scored a brilliant goal, and then inadvertently deflected Glenn Hoddle's shot past Corrigan for the Tottenham equaliser. Two good saves, 2 in extra time from Spurs' Milja Alexic. Glenn Hoddle, who will no doubt do his best to claim that Tottenham equaliser as his. It's certainly his shot, but I feel it wouldn't have gone in, and certainly not in that side of the goal, had it not hit Hutchison. Nevertheless, the Hoddle magic from free kicks was what saved Spurs here. Tottenham have played all their cup ties this season except for 1 in London, and there's 1 more yet to come. It wasn't quite like this in Buenos Aires, but he now knows what it's like to play in an English FA Cup final. Mike Varney with the beard, the Tottenham trainer, had to work overtime in extra time. He was constantly at the side of the pitch trying to revive players who had cramp. And they salute supporters who are now quite pleased, I would imagine, to get their breath back. So there we are, the 100th FA Cup final is only the 2nd at Wembley to go to a replay, and the players now will be able to give us their thoughts on what was a compelling match as they talk down in our interview room beneath the dressing rooms to Barry Davies.
Well, first of all, John, the thoughts of the manager, John Bond. What sort of emotions does that produce in a manager when you're leading, the other side equalise, and you go into extra time and we've got to do it all over again?
Disappointment, I suppose, at the end of the day, but I thought both teams were magnificent on the day. I thought that they created a fair amount of chances for one another, for each other, and it could have been 3 or 4 goals in the thing, but they just didn't get the breaks when it was necessary, and at the end of the day it was a battle royal, wasn't it? I mean, it was who was the tiredest at the end of the day. I thought it was magnificent. I think that everybody deserves 100% credit for it.
Now, you believe in quality performances. Would you, in fact, have been slightly unhappy if the match had been decided on the strength of fitness and not of football skill at the end there?
Well, that's right, but I mean, that was survival of the fittest at the death, wasn't it? I mean, they were flying and laying about all over the place at the end. I mean, you just didn't know the next one who would go down, but there was total commitment from everybody out there. I think that the crowd got their money's worth today.
When were you most happy? At half-time?
I was most happy in the first half because I felt we played very well the first half, and I thought they got it together a bit the second half and began to knock it about a little. But I thought the game was a trifle unkind to. I don't think that was unfair insofar as that the draw was probably the right result. But I think the game was a little bit unfair to us in many ways. I mean, the goal was a deflection. I don't think he would have beaten Joe Corrigan today unless he'd have got a goal like that.
He was magnificent, wasn't he?
Oh, tremendous.
Well, let's get the reactions of some very tired players. Kevin Reeves, first of all.
Yes, I'm shattered, really. Especially extra time, you know, the last 15 minutes, you know, I was completely drained.
What sort of emotion goes through your mind in that? Because it is the occasion when it's more likely to be decided by a mistake than by somebody doing something particularly brilliant.
Yeah, I think, you know, your mind gets tired at that time as well as physically, and I think you do things that you wouldn't normally do, you know, when you're sharp and on the ball.
Bobby McDonald?
Yeah, well, I just agree with Kevin. All the lads were tired, and as he said, it was a case of who made a mistake rather than who did something special. But we were a little bit disappointed with the goal in as much as Tommy was unlucky to deflect it past Joe, who I think he had the ball covered and he would have saved it.
Well, if I can just bring in, if you excuse me, Ray, if I can bring in Tommy Hutchison and also Keith Birkinshaw, if I can get all the Glenn Hoddle, we might as well have all the people directly involved. Let's first of all, Tommy, talk about the goal that you'll want to remember, the one that you scored for your own side.
Yeah, I think Kev got the ball out wide on the right.
Can I get you around here? That's it.
Kev got the ball out wide on the right, and I was on the edge of the box, I think, and the ball got knocked. I think he held it and then laid it back to Ray Ransom, and it was sort of knocked near post.
Yes, well, it should be coming up any second now. You're only seeing yourself on there, but I hope that we'll see the goal in a moment. Anyway, go on, you're giving us a marvellous description of it, but they wanted to see the picture.
And I just tried to get in front of the lad and get my head set. I had no idea where it was going to go, like, but I was pleased to see it go.
Your eyes were open when you made contact with it?
Yeah, for one slight, so.
Don't score too many with your head there, Tommy, do you?
No, but, you know, given a chance in there, I'm lethal, you know.
Well, let's get the two people involved. Stay here. Glenn Hoddle, can I bring you in? Because it was your free kick, and we might as well settle the argument as to who's going to get this particular goal. If we can see this one now. 3 people involved in the free kick, Glenn. You, Steve Perryman, and Osvaldo Ardiles.
Yeah, well, it's something we've worked out in training, and it was meant to go in the other corner. But I think, was it Tommy who got the touch? Yeah, I didn't know who got the touch. It just got a touch, and unfortunately Joe was going the wrong way. But, well, fortunately for us, unfortunately for them.
Are you intending to claim it?
Well, add it up, Hoddle scored, so I'll claim it, yeah.
You wouldn't argue with that, I suppose. You'd be quite happy if he claims it, Tommy.
Take the pressure off him.
No, I think for Joe's sake, I scored it, really, because I think if I'd have left it, Joe would have caught it. Joe had it covered.
Well, we've got Joe here for his version on that. Joe Corrigan. Would you have saved it?
Yeah, he'd either go in wide or I'd have saved it. No, it took a hell of a deflection. I'd already committed myself for the free kick, but it was, you know, no disrespect to Glenn, but it wasn't his goal, really. Hutchin took a hell of a deflection.
Well, I must say, I didn't have a vote in the man of the match if we'd been able to award it. Obviously, we've got to wait now until the replay. But over those 120 minutes, it would have to go down to you, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, very tired players, all a collection of them here. But let's go back now to David Coleman. Thanks very much indeed, Barry. Well, a Centenary Cup final really to remember there, and it all to be done again on Thursday night. Kick-off 7:30, and if you want to make your plans now for Thursday night to watch BBC One, we shall be opening BBC One, changing programmes, and the start of the programmes for Cup Final Grandstand Thursday night. The replay will be 7:50.